penis. Nobody calls such names. They give it all funny names. Even till now, they call it all funny names. So you grow up without even knowing what is the boundary. Some children even think or used to think that for an uncle to want to touch them, they are doing them a good thing. They don't know, they don't understand. Why? It's not the fault of the mother. The mother too was not taught. So this is the way she knows how to bring up her child. She doesn't know better. The father doesn't know better. So the cycle continues. Ignorance upon ignorance. Ignorant generation bringing up another ignorant generation. So nobody talks about sex. Do you see in churches, do they ever say in the mosque, today we want to discuss sex education? Do they ever say, like, all my children gather here today, I want to speak to you about your body? There's a noise going somewhere. Okay.
How about now?
Right. So that aspect of awareness is not yet there. It's not there. In the villages, it's not there. The girl is growing up, she's like, a girl is like, you know, when you're placed in a thick forest, you're trying to clear the forest to pass through. There's nobody to guide you, no map, no direction. You are the one clearing this thick forest, trying to find your way. That is how the girl child is in Nigeria. You're clearing this thick forest before you. All the body changes, all the things happening to you, you don't understand, and there's nobody you can talk to. You cannot have a conversation with your mother. It's not there. They shut you down. They don't let you speak. I don't know if the culture is changing now, but you trust everybody. You send your child out to anywhere. Go to uncle, because everybody is uncle. Go to uncle, go to and house. Go and get me this. Oh, go and meet uncle and go and get me this. You don't know what they are doing. You don't know this person. So, it will be a lot of work, a lot of education, a lot of creating awareness, like what we are doing now. There's too much noise. I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't know either.
Your devices.
Does the sound okay?
Your devices. Are they?
Can you just write about the sound? Sylvia just wrote something very interesting. She said,
If your device on silent,
what?
your devices, put them in silent.
Still on.
Your devices, are they on volume?
It just started now.
Yeah. Yes, hello?
Yes, can you hear me now?
It's better. It's gone.
Oh, wow. Where is that sound coming from?
I don't know. It's gone. So there's a lot of work to be done. It will start with the family. I think the family is the most important part here. The family, if we can get the family right, then we can get other aspects of the institution right. The family, there's a lot of work to be done. And having all these 10 children, when you don't have a job, you have 10 children. 10, you don't have a job. These are all problems. You're bringing up children who are going to become broken because you're spreading a man will spread children all over Nigeria. Lagos, my daughter is in Lagos, my son is in Abuja, all of them house girls and house boys. Why did you bring them to the wall? You don't need to bring all these children to the wall. So these are education awareness we need to create in the family, to be able to have relationship with their children. Even if they are poor, They should have dignity as human beings. So that is one aspect we need to look into.
So you encourage mothers to talk more to their female daughters about their sexuality, about their life. At what age do you think such conversations should be held?
5, 6, as long as the child can understand you.
Okay.
4, even 4, if the child can understand you. There are levels of talk. It's not at 4 you start talking deep things. You just tell the child little things you need to know. Your body is your body. Nobody should touch it. Nobody should play around here. Nobody should. Keep talking to the child. You're a princess. Your body is nobody should abuse you. Look at the way God created you. These are things the child wants to hear. And when they get to teenage age, you increase or you go deeper into the conversation of actual sex. You teach them their body parts. If a man comes and does this and say, you mention all scenarios. If a man comes to you and say, if I touch you, don't tell your mother, that is an abuse. But my question is, does the mother even know what to teach the child? It is what you know that you give. You cannot give what you don't have. So when you say talk to the child, what are they going to tell the child? Me and you know the meaning of abuse. Does the woman in the village know the meaning of abuse? She's even going through abuse. The husband rapes her. She doesn't even. Because if she say, I'm tired, I'm just coming back from the market, the man push her on the bed, and that is rape. But she just thinks that it's normal. I was having a conversation with my sister, and she said to me, you see, some of these women don't understand the meaning of abuse because they watch their mother being abused. They are in an abusive relationship. They think it's a normal thing. So how do we then talk to these mothers about talking to their children?
You just made a very important point, because the mother cannot teach the daughter what she doesn't know.
Yes, doesn't know.
So first of all, you have to educate yourself about the female, because it's not enough to be a woman or to have vagina and have boobs and all those things. You have to educate your mind about what it affects you. There are women that they don't know their body part, they don't know what it takes. So women use certain chemicals to wash their body, like ordinary soap, which has effect on the HP of the female genital. It has a lot of negative effect on that. A lot of women don't know these things. So you first of all have to educate yourself before you can be able to educate your child. Not just your female child. You educate the male child on how to act, to treat the woman who is involved. So you said that this issue of sexuality should be introduced into children little by little and going deeper, because there's a phenomenon I discovered about this sexuality. Every parent, all of us today, we were once teenagers before graduating into the adulthood and to whatever we are today, whatever age, 40, 30, 50, and all those things. But there's something that we quickly forget, that at a specific age, we acted in a specific manner. There are children who at age 11 acted. Children right now that in age 11, they know their sexual need. They know their fantasy about their partners, about the guy in their class, about the lady in their class, and all those things. But the problem is that 10 years from now, 15 years from now, they will forget about the experience that they had. And now they have children. They will not be able to bring themselves back to the level of their children. So what I'm proposing is that you be able to revisit your past. Imagine the stupidity you did, the thought you had, the fantasy, the teacher you were fantasizing in the class, whoever it is. Children talk about these things. You cannot pretend that they don't talk about it. You cannot pretend that they don't think about it, because children, since right from age scientifically, age 3, they start to identify gender. Age 3. The female child, she tries to understand why this one is male, why this one is female. She tries to understand the difference between her father and her mother. They start questioning themselves. They say at that age, children start thinking about these things. They try to see certain features in their father. They start to see features in their mother. There are children at age 6, at age 7, they start asking, why don't I have dress? Why is mommy's dress bigger? They take shower with their parent. So they start questioning these things. So you should be able, as a parent, should be able to bring yourself down to the level of your children. Imagine when you were young, at age 11, what were you thinking? At age 10, what were you thinking? At age 11, 13, 14, 15, what were you thinking? You might think you're smart. You can watch your kids move, but some of them are even smarter than you. They can be able to outplay you and they can keep secret away from you. So you should be able to propose yourself. You should be able to make yourself available to be the best parent, best friends to your children. It's not about being a parent, being authoritative, but they should be able to communicate with you. They should be able to tell you, share their secrets, share their mind. If your child cannot tell you about their life, then what is your responsibility? They should be able to talk to you and tell you what is it, what do you think. So I want you to really emphasize on that issue of that Nollywood. How do you think our media can represent this sexuality? Because you made something, because rape do exist in marriage too. It does exist.
Yeah.
A woman body, there is a time where a woman will not want, she's not in the mood. She wouldn't want anything to even touch her body. It doesn't matter if she's married or not. If the husband, we men, we're ready all the time. It's that biologically our body is made that way. So, but the woman has hormonal imbalances sometimes. Sometimes you want it, sometimes you don't. So the man, sometimes you have a situation where the man wants his wife and the wife is not in the mood. Our movies always portray this in a very bad manner. Very, very, very bad manner in Hollywood. There was one classic example I always like to give about Nollywood. One of the huge mistakes I observed is a guy actually, he went to the hospital to donate blood for his child. So they told him that he's B positive and the child is O positive. The funniest thing in the Nollywood was that the conclusion they made, because they were having two different blood types, because he's B positive and his child had different blood type, they concluded that is not his son, which is a very gross error. You cannot identify, I'm B positive, my father is O positive. Blood type doesn't determine, who is the parent or not. What actually determines is your DNA. DNA test does this. But Nollywood succeeded in passing on this information. And that movie, I don't know how many millions of people watched it in Nigeria, but all the people that watched it, it's a huge form of miseducation. Apart from school that we go to study, the media shape our mind about the society. Media is the second school that we go to. Everything you learn things from the things you watch. The way the women talk to women, the way the women interact with men, you learn things. I was discussing with a friend recently about the different level of learning. We humans, we have 7 types of intelligence. There are people who have visual intelligence. They learn through images and colors. There are people with auditory intelligence. They listen. They make good musicians. There are people with kinetic intelligence. Those people are dancers. They are very good actors. They are movers. They are footballers. They are athletes. People that are in that. If you see somebody who's doing very good in sports today, mostly men have that they have that kinetic intelligence, high quantum. If you see a child who is restless in the class and just moving all around, they have that level of intelligence in their body that they are always stimulated to move. That kind of child will never learn seated. You have to move them around in the class. You have to make them to sing or to make them to dance, or you make them to participate in what they are learning. So people watch through watching. People who have visual intelligence and they lack auditory intelligence, if you're speaking to them, they will find it hard to record what you're telling them. But the moment they see those images, they learn. A large population of the country learn through watching movies.
Yeah, but that also in a good system of education, they identify those things in the class. Because like my children's class, I'll use example of my daughter. They actually told her the way she should, because this is the way they see her learn visually. So if she's here and she's studying, you see a lot of videos, you see a lot of those things make her learn more than just reading a book. So So if she's got a topic in biology, she has to look for it on YouTube or something, and then she's seeing the whole image and everything. She understands it better than just telling her, open this textbook and study. They won't. My first son, she has to have music on to be able to study. And he doesn't study the traditional way that we study. So if we want to make him study that way, it's going to be a big problem. So he will tell you, I cannot study that way. I don't know how to study that way. And that is the person he is. Very energetic. So everything of him is fast. So he doesn't like long grammar. He likes mathematics, physics, things that you calculate fast and move on. Yeah. So they identify them in a good system. But you know, in Africa, everybody's read. Everybody study. So they even start saying you are a dunce. When you're not a dunce, you could be good, like you say, in dancing, in swimming. You could be good, but we don't recognize those things. And Nollywood, let's come back to Nollywood before we deviate. If we had a good system to the body and say, look, you have to know what movies you're churning out to the public. Like all these medical things, do they sit down and go and sit with a professional and actually say, this is the line of my story? Is it medically right for me to say this, or they just acting? You see a person acting as a doctor, carry stethoscope and puts it on somebody's face. I mean, did they not do like sort of a background research or study something? So there is a lot with Nollywood. It has really, I'm not saying they're not having good positive movies, but the junk of those Onitsha movies have just destroyed Africa. Most of those movies that come from Iwela Road, so they're just negative vibes, and our children are watching it. Adults are watching it. Youngsters are watching it. So they are watching a man rape a woman, get away with it. They are watching all this. So it's something that has to be regulated. But who is going to regulate it, Innocent, in Nigeria? Who is going to regulate Nollywood?
Well, the point I want to make is that since we discovered that no one can do it, we have to take this responsibility on ourselves. Me personally, I volunteered to work on a project. I'm not very good in informatics, but I volunteered actually to develop cartoon for the kids that will teach them science, human anatomy actually. Something that I'm not science student. I've never been a science student. I'm always that of literature, history, and philosophy and all those things. Right from I know that I love history, But then I discovered the necessity in our community, and that people have to do something about it. Like I told you about developing a platform, having YouTube and all those things, having a vlog, having a platform, a news site where if you want to publish anything you want to publish and make it public that people will get. Like personally, I ordered for pictures from Niger, artifact of drums and all this to publish them online, and I write information about them. So this is what we can do as individuals, people who are watching, people who have the talent, people who have the technical know-how to produce some of these things. If you're an informatic person, you're good in, computing and all those things. If you can develop cartoons, you make sure that you look for the right equipment to develop. Like the plan is to have a cartoon for kids where they participate. Not necessarily cartoon actually. You can find little kids, cute environment with, all those things, medical stuff, where they can talk about human anatomy as little as they are. They can be able to name some of those human parts, both the private but different parts. That's how they start learning right from childhood. We have some of those videos made by white children, white audience, but it's important for the black child, African children to be able to see themselves, to be able to see their image being represented as a black child, talking about it. They can be able to dream about it, becoming a medical doctor by watching some of these videos and doing it. So our movie industry, currently people who are into it now, they are ventured and they're not giving us good ideas about it.
No.
So the best thing for us now is for people who have the technical know-how, people who are highly motivated, people who can go back to school to learn some of these skills, to be able to go into. I said, yes, I'm not a science student. I'm not a biological student. Okay, what can I do? I have to, by passion, by the zeal that I have for my community, I say I'll go into it, work on it, and try to contribute something, because I already have the concept of what I want for my children. I have the concept of what I want for my society. The best thing is to go and work on it and make the concept available for them, for the children. I'm working for my daughter and for my siblings, for the little ones that are coming up. So we cannot continue blaming our Nollywood industry. They have failed us already. They can only give you what they know. They can only give you what. And if you try to talk sense into them, they cannot be able to think like you. They need to study. They need to see things beyond. They need to see things your own level. So it will be hard for some of them, you know. So what we can do as individuals is that we have to influence this industry ourselves. Even if we mean starting a studio, you know, like I'm looking at Nollywood Nigeria is the second. They say it's the second largest after Hollywood or Bollywood. They say, but they don't have session for children, no cartoon for children. All their movies, you never see children acting inside. Always adult, you know. They don't know how to incorporate children inside. There's no futuristic representation.
No.
We don't have science fiction. We always, you know, very funny. They like drama, you know. They like drama. Our kids, there's nothing for them. And even when they have cartoons to watch, they're not always represented in some of those cartoons. It's being produced by foreigners, by foreign, you know, Europeans, the Westerners, and they can only tell you about snow. A child in Africa who is watching doesn't know what is called snow. We don't have the same environment. You can take certain of our settings, animals, and introduce, and that's why I like this. What they call it, Lion King, that is coming out, because it was the location is in Kenya.
I watched it yesterday.
Oh, you see, and you can show it to your children.
All of us watch it together. It's really good, and it is an African setting. I love it. It's African music, African setting. Is in the jungle of Africa. So it is beautiful. It's real, and it's got good lessons to learn. Good. And it cuts across age group. Even a baby can watch it. It's got good lessons in that. You don't see all these explicit things. It's really good setting. I recommend it to every African. It's really good setting.
I'm going to watch it.
And this is exactly what you're saying, that these are the type of things we should be feeding our children with. But you know, people are working, they buy this DSTV, whatever they call it. The children are just constantly on Nollywood channel. And they are watching
useless drama.
Yes.
About
witchcraft, how praying for somebody and get miracle, how a witch is falling on top of the roof and becomes a cat or a human being, how all this sort of, and they're feeding their minds with it. There is no movies showing how a young child can be innovative, how you can go through life and fall and get up and rise again. It's not there. So if you're doing this, it's brilliant. And this is what people always say. Why are you even bothered? Why are you bothering yourself? You're doing too much. No, we have to bother ourselves.
Yes.
It is our responsibility to see our community change. If you can talk, you talk. Like me, I can talk, so I'm talking, educating, creating awareness. If you can do stuff like what you're doing, do it. If you can write storybooks and flood the market for young people. If you can do short videos, start doing it so that people will start getting things. Together we can do this thing. But Innocent, one thing I've seen with our people, we don't like togetherness. We don't like to work together. Everybody wants to know more than the other. But we are all different and unique. We have different talents. If we bring it together, we can change things in our community. It doesn't need to be government. Me and you can change. We can make a difference. If you're in a dark room and you light one candle, it will brighten up to a certain level of circumference. If you light two candles, it's wider. Three candles, the whole room is lit up. And that is how life is. If you are doing your bit, I'm doing my bit, we support one another, we come back, we interact, we share platforms, we share programs, we will move faster than the government. Change things. People will get interested. People will get to know. But when you say, I'm innocent, I'm doing my thing, that one, I don't know what she's doing. I want to just focus on my thing. I'm saying, I want to focus. We cannot move forward.
That's true.
It is something that we have to think about. We're talking about rape here, and we're looking at the causes. We are analyzing the causes, and we're looking at the society as institutions, different institutions. And we're looking, every institution, there is a problem. Family institution, there's a problem. Church as an institution, there's a problem. Nollywood as an institution, there's a problem. Educational system as an institution, there is a problem. So everyone should go into every segment of this institution and start to make a change, because we can do it for the good future of our children and children's children.
Now we know what to do as parents. We know the kind of education we should give to our children. We know that first of all, we have to first educate ourselves about our biology. We have to learn things about our children, and also to be able to place ourselves in the level of our children and giving them the permission to express themselves, because this is a culture that we don't have in Africa. A child expressing themselves. When the child speaks, we think they are being diabolical. We accuse some of them of being rude. We accuse some of them of being possessed with evil spirit, all those things. So as a parent, you need to be more up. You need to allow your children to speak openly to you, to tell them about things that have been hurt. So we spoke about that. We also spoke about the film, the movie production. So now we know that we don't have to wait for individuals or for Nollywood to go on in this production. We have seen example in Nollywood, we have seen example in Black Panther and all these things. We can go on, people who are really, really determined, they can go into this system to effect change. So the last institution I want us to touch before we leave, a few minutes, I will also encourage people that are watching us to share this, because we have identified some of this problem, and the best thing we can do in our own part is to come in live to share with you. And I've observed that it's very important. I will never stop talking about this, and I'm glad that you came up with this initiative to speak about this in your platform. Because even if it's just one person, like you said, lighting one candle, it affects changes. One mother can change the life of 3 children or 2.
Yeah.
That child will go on to change the life of another child. So we can do things with the resources that is available to us.
Yeah.
Now we have a platform, we're speaking about it. The way you can contribute in doing this is by sharing this video wide, inviting people to watch them. We also make them your available platform, available, lens, so that people can watch them, so that we can share their ideas. Now we're doing our best by speaking about it. So what I want us to do now is to touch the last institution that is very, 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 very important, the most sensitive institution, which is the church. How can we do it? What does the Bible say about this? Because you cannot speak about this without touching this institution. What does the Bible say about the place of a woman, about rape? What can we do? You are a Christian. I've had a total psychological cutoff from understanding, because me, right now, I've read the Bible. I have a very biased view about the Bible. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
That was the first reason why I even lost my faith in Christianity in the first place, because there was a day, I started the church actually. I started the church here. We started growing 2, 3, 4, 5 people, 6, 7, 10, up to 57. At some point, families, I was very zealous in the past. I wanted to become a pastor. The population was growing. So I always had doubt about Christianity. I wanted to perform miracles and do a lot of things. Until the day I was in the church, I was preaching about Elisha or Elijah. I can't even remember the passage precisely. It should be between Elisha and Elijah. One of them is bald. So he was walking And there were 42 children who mocked him and said, Prophet, you're bad, and started laughing at him. So the man said, if I am a prophet of God, I command you to be cursed. So the moment he made that pronouncement, two deer came out from nowhere from heaven and killed the 42 children. It's recorded in the Bible. So I was preaching about, touch not my anointing that day in the church. Something struck me. I then discovered the inhumanity in such passage in the Bible. I stopped in the middle of what I was saying. I came back home, I kept reasoning. Now that I have a child, what will happen if my child was among those kids that were being caused by the prophet? Because, children, there's something they call age of reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
There's an age where you can discuss with your child. They will reason with you. They don't know between the right and wrongs. So that's why you hear children, they always say, why? Why? If you say, don't touch it, they ask you why.
Mm-hmm.
You're smart as a parent, you calm down, you explain to them. Because their mind is registering a lot of things they're listening. Why, mommy, why? Mommy this, mommy that. I have that passion with children. Ask me a question 20,000 times, I would explain to you. If you see this one, I had an episode the other day. Child will ask him, what is this thing used for? I come down and explain that it's called Bluetooth. You have to connect this and this and that. I show, you do this, you do this. The child learns something. You have to take your time to explain this thing to them. So I was like, if my child is among these 42 kids that were being killed by this prophet, what will I say? And how old were they? So I started questioning the veracity, the morality that we learn in the scripture. And I also find that passages about being raped, about war, the children of Israel conquering the Amorite, the Amalekite, all these things, and being subjected, and they are being apportioned. Even there's a scripture in the Bible that says, take those who don't know man by sleeping with them and divide it among yourselves, divide the spoils of the war, divide all the cows, all the goats, and everything among different families. So I started having conflictual views. But today, do you have anything? Do you want to do anything? You seem pressed.
Well, oh God, I can't see you, Innocent.
What's that?
I don't know what
Can you
I've
hear me?
done. I can't hear you. Okay, we're back. I can see you. Go on.
Okay. All right.
So you were talking about religion as an institution.
Yes. So I have this conflictual view of, because there are conflicts, but it's something, I'm just giving you this example, but we have the large sector of our community are largely religious, Christianity. How can we use Christianity to influence the value system that we have? One of the biggest examples I always like to point out is DSA. I don't know how he interprets his own Bible, but I'm proud of him. I don't listen to any pastor. I don't listen to any pastor apart from him. When he comes on, I go listen to him because he has a way of speaking. He's, liberating people, are being bold, and they're speaking out, and all sorts of things. That's one aspect. I've seen a lot of people coming out of the platform, reading his book. I read his book personally, and I felt influenced. His economic book he wrote about Nigeria and all those things. Things that you think but you're reading, you're finding out new things already. So I've seen that people can actually use this Christianity as a weapon to manipulate people. You can equally use it as a weapon to foster positive effect. So it's left for us now to try to look into this institution. What can we do? Because it's one of the biggest contributors of our morality in our society. So what can you do in your opinion, in your little way? What do you think? What role can Christianity play in your own understanding?
I think when we talk about religion, when we use that word religion, I think it's just a form of, for me, is religion to me is enslavement, patterning people to a particular mindset and views. That to me is not what God defines as my people when he says my people, or he talks about Christianity. Even the Christianity that we think we have in Africa, fortunately, is still religion until people come out of religion and Christianity and embrace kingdom just what you said about DSA. He is a different person. He talks about kingdom. When we move out from religion, pastors and others, and moving from Christianity, I go to church every Sunday, I listen to a pastor, I go for prayer meeting, those are patterns. And we move out from patterns and do exactly what Christianity means, which was go into the world and make disciples or to spread the kingdom. It wasn't about building, it wasn't about institution, it was about humanity. Go into the world and impact lives. Go into the world and make positive changes. Go into the world and love humanity. Love people, love God, love humanity. God is not in religion. God is not white, black, Muslim, Christian. God is love. If you as a person can love God, that means you have loved humanity, then you have loved God. Then you are a child of God. Let's forget about all this. Everything we are doing in Africa, I'm sorry, 99% is purely religion. That is why there's so much wickedness. People don't know God. There is no way, like you're sitting there, you say, oh, this Bible was a lot of error, but you have the mind of the people, you love people, you want to see ways of making life better for people. You are a child of God. Because that is exactly what God wants from every human being he created. So come into the world and love each of us, love individual, love people. You're loving God. So when we bring that down to our churches, if we have that mindset, we will not be harming one another. A pastor will not know very well that I'm not supposed to take this money from these poor people. And he's still doing it. He doesn't know God. He's just practicing what all of them are practicing. Religion. Because the moment you know God, you cannot harm your next neighbor. You cannot harm humanity. You love them. You're looking for ways to help them. All these people in the world today, I mentioned like Mark Zuckerberg, like Warren Buffett, they're always finding ways to make life better for humanity. And people say they don't know God. How do you reconcile that? They're always looking for ways to make life. They are working hard now to look for vaccinations for hard things, different things. But looking for HIV, you have to find a cure. They are pumping in so much millions of dollars to find a cure, to investigate, do this. They have error, they go again, they fail, they try again. They're always. But you go to Africa, a pastor that somebody came to give you their child. The child came to your church. A church is supposed to be a place of safety where you say it is the house of God, according to them. Because to me, there is no God in a building. God is inside of me. God is inside of me. God is inside of every one of us. We can fellowship together, but he is not in that building. He's not. He is inside of me. So a child comes to you carrying God, and you molest the child, you abuse the child, you're carrying Bible like this, you're raping the child with your Bible in your hand. Innocent, that is nothing to do with God. These people don't know God. These people are evil. This thing we're practicing in Africa is not what God wanted us to do. God said, love God, love your neighbor. That is it. That is what, if you call it Christianity, if you call it a way of life, if you call it kingdom life, whatever you call it, that is all it is. Whether you are quoting Bible, whether you're carrying anointing oil, so all these people, they don't know God. So now, we have group of people who look up to them as their Messiah. They look up to them as the people who are hearing from God. And that is another scam, because nobody hears from God for me. All of us hear from our Father. You have a daughter. Somebody will come from outside and tell you, your daughter said I should come and tell you. How does that work? Your daughter will come straight to you, Innocent, and say, Dad, this is what I want.
Yes.
So if your daughter...
So do you go to church here every Sunday?
I don't go every Sunday.
So now I see your point. I understand your point, because you're talking about kingdom lifestyle with the institutionalized religion that we have right now. People think they can find salvation in buildings or find salvation through going through somebody who will take care. There's something very important I want to share with you. A very strong point I had for a very long time. They say there are three things that affect pastors or people who place themselves in the position of ministry, through the word of God. They say first is woman, second is money, and third is popularity. They say if you are not found with constant urge after women, you must fail in this aspect. But if you are strong enough to resist the temptation of going after women, you avoid it, you stood strong. The temptation of money comes in because you'll be faced with a lot of challenges of family, of friends, of people who are looking up to you to serve them because you are in a position of helping.
No, let me cut you short there. Why do they put themselves in that position? Why do you need a big church? Why can you not be what did the Bible say in Ephesians 4? He made pastors, prophets, evangelists, and they were to equip the saints. Can you not equip saints in your houses? How did the early church grow? Did they build mansions and buildings? Why can you not cut your coat according to your size? What do you want to do because Pastor A has a cathedral of 1,000 people? You now want, because it is that fundamental truth, that thing inside of you that is urging for more, that is driving you to start looking for money. You could have gone with what you have. I know genuine men of God who don't even have cars, but they are preaching in the villages. They are gathering in halls and preaching. They have day job. Why do you even want to make pastor a full-time job? Why don't you get a job? So I don't buy to that. You have to look for money because you've put yourself in a position that you are God. Everybody comes to you. You have to solve their problem. So then you have to meet up that demand of putting yourself in that position of a God, a demigod. Everybody has to worship you. But if you bring yourself down and say, I am just like you people, I'm a normal person like you, I'm only teaching you to come to my level of understanding God like me. So everybody, even if you're in need, you come to church and say, I'm in need, or I need prayer. Everybody is together. Let us pray together. But in Africa, we have people who we have elevated into the position of God. So when they can abuse, because as you say, power intoxicates. So because we've given them this so much power, it intoxicates them as human beings. So they use people in these places.
In conclusion,
if we put them down from that high position, we will reduce the rate of abuse. If we can look a pastor in the face and say, you raped my child, I'm taking you to the police station, I'm arresting you, we will reduce this nonsense. But nobody wants to talk about the past because he's a man of God. This is the problem in Africa. And we have to bring them down from those high horses. They are human beings like us.
So in conclusion now, I would like to hear from you before we end the program. Thanks for those who stick with us, and we're going to read your comment. I don't know if you will read it out. Can you see the comment?
Yeah, I can see.
Can we try to see what they're saying so that you end it with a few words?
Ronke says, see what Khan did to the issue of Biodun. They did not even allow this guy to express his own view of what happened. They helped him to be lawyers and judges. Can imagine such an ugly issue from the people calling themselves representatives of Christians of the whole country. It's a shame. So they went to Fatu Ibo's church and they say, I stand with you. I stand with you. That alone is something that I cannot comprehend. But then, Innocent, it boils down to this, what I'm telling you about religion. Religion is not what God created us to come and do. You talked about that prophet that said, I command if I be a man of God, all of you go mad. That is religion.
Yes.
All those wars and killings, that is religion. That is why if you go to New Testament, Jesus was always against the Pharisees and the Sadducees because they were custodians of religion. He doesn't want religion. He wants a way of life. He wants you to just love people. He wants you to live a normal, be a friend. How could he, as a master, always being around people, always helping people, always healing people? He never commanded anybody to die. He never commanded, he always providing. He saw the widow woman who was progressing to go and bury his only child. He stopped and helped the woman. This is a lifestyle of who I represent. I don't represent these people. No, I don't. So that lifestyle is what is causing all this problem. Until people come out of religion and buildings and become what God created them to be, loving God and loving people, we will continue to have this problem with religion because we cannot challenge them. We have put them as demigod. We have put them in a position that they rape your child, they rape a child in the church, and there is church committee, and they say, let us not sit, don't not my anointed, until we come out from that mindset and look at these people as human beings. If you rape a child, you are a criminal and you should be in prison. That is where we should be going with religion. If you as a reverend father, as a general overseer, as a pastor, you are a criminal. You should be going to jail. Go and repent. Read your Bible in jail. There are criminals who read Bible in jail. Go and preach in jail. But for now, go to jail. I leave you with this example. When Jesus was hung on the cross, there were two criminals by his side. He didn't say, release him, let him go. He said, you will be with me in paradise. He forgave his sins. But the criminal had to pay for his crime by dying. Those are two different things. Your sins are forgiven in prison, but my dear friend, go to prison and pay for your crimes. Thank you so much.
I agree with you. That's a very powerful point. Thank you so much. It's a very wonderful conversation. I will share the link with you there as soon as the videos are available on YouTube. Yeah. So thanks to our viewers too for
thank you so much,
hanging with us.
Yeah.
I think you should read more of the comment. Let's hear what people say before we leave eventually. Okay.
Right. Bumi said Christianity has been watered down to religion. People said that's what she said. Lolan Davis said, that is why they call us third world country. I just see that we are like the foundation. May the Lord increase us. Revolution in every aspect of our society. The church is not ready yet because of their denial. So the church is still living in denial. They are not ready for this revolution. We have Mary said, come on, people, let it start from you. So please share the video. Let it start from you. So share the video.
Thank you, Mary, for hanging around. Mary, I've been seeing her comments. She's there hanging on. And you too, Mary, please. You have babies. Teach them the right values. I trust you on that. So
Mary is on fire. So don't worry.
Mary is on fire.
We had another comment here. I was trying to see if I can read it. Tracy wrote something about Nollywood. Watch one where a rapist made the woman pregnant, apologized to the victim. She forgave him. They fell in love, had twins, and I think they got married.
Nollywood.
Yes. Nollywood. Yeah.
They fabricate this, please. Tracy, thank you for your consistency. I've seen your comment. She's very vast, vast with this Nollywood subject. I think it's very important. I think you should also have a program with Tracy.
Yeah.
Let her discuss more of this because it's very important. She seemed to know much about this.
So somebody said, my son always say, my bed is my tummy, and I left it that way. But I'm shocked that my 5-year-old said today, boobies. I asked you, you told him. He laughed. My rake on this is that mothers should give their children first-hand information before the world does. I recently opted, I can't read it all. This, let me see. Oh, sorry, I missed that comment. Can't see it again. Okay, I've seen it. I recently opted. Oh, when I want to read Facebook, it just goes off. I recently opted out on sex education for my son in school only because I realized I haven't done it and he should hear from me first before the school does. Because I don't give him the first information about sex education.
And she's a Nigerian? Is that Tracy?
Yeah, she's no, that's another person.
Oh, thank you. If you're Nigerian, I'm happy to see our people are thinking in such direction because our parents, we should be the generation of parents that will be different from our own parents. Our parents were shy to talk about this. Let's be different, please. Let's change this culture.
I think we can change. And Tracy said here, whenever my dad would send me to get newspaper from his house, they used to exchange newspapers every Saturday. And I was their courier whenever his wife was away. I would knock on the door and go far from the door and drop the newspaper before he opens it. He would want me to come into his house. The idiot would have this look on his face, up to no good. He would say, come now, me, I will refuse to go anywhere near the idiot.
Can you imagine? He's a predator.
Yeah, there is a lady who wrote recently about how she was raped. The first day she was raped, the mother sent her across the road to her friend's house. And she went there. It was the teenage son of that mother's friend that actually violated her. And since that day, he kept on raping her for many years. The abuse went on for many years. And the mother used to send her across to that house. And when she goes there, she knows that the guy is going to rape her. And the guy used to use this sentence, if you tell your parents, they will not believe. They will send you out of the house. So she was so scared. And this went on for many years. So those are avenues of abuse. You send your child to a man's house. The wife is not there. Your child is going in there. You send her across to your friend's house, full of teenagers. What are you expecting? So these are things that we need to watch out. I think our time is up. There's so many comments here.
Okay, we can read them all. So as parents too, we should watch out for that relative, those family friends who come in and look at your child and say, oh, my wife, oh, my husband, all those. Look out for those signs. Do not take that lightly.
No.
I told my mother, I said, look, no. Pastor, no. Any person coming with that joke, my husband, my wife, all those things. That's how it starts. That's how it comes to that. Don't accept. And if you see your child, your daughter, if you see them always afraid of a specific uncle, or whenever that uncle comes to your house and they start acting funny, or they are not getting angry, or they don't like to greet him, or anytime you speak to them, they act in a disrespectful manner. Most of our parents miss these signs. The next thing they are questioning the daughter, they say, can't you greet your uncle? That's what they will say. This child, why are you being disrespectful to this person? That child, there is something going on internally that child will not tell you. Watch out for these signs. These are little signs that children exhibit that most parents, they don't know that child is going through serious abuse. They cannot tell you what is going on. They keep hiding it, or probably they're being threatened by the person that is involved. But you see them acting weird. And you as a parent, if you're smart, you should know that. And the moment you get these signs, call your child and talk to them. The moment you get the reality, don't joke. You make sure you set a limit between your child and this person. No matter, even the person is general overseer.
No matter who they are.
As a parent, and fight, because it is your responsibility to protect your children. If you don't, they will messed up.
Yeah.
There was something I told my mother recently about a documentary I watched. It's about a lion, a mother lion who fought for her babies. She was there and some troops of lions came in. I was watching that documentary. I saw the way the mother fought. She died eventually. She fought by some group. She was trying to protect her babies, but she died eventually. That documentary broke me down psychologically. I saw the love of a mother fighting for her. I noticed that among animals, the mothers, the moment they give birth, they become very aggressive. Their body releases a chemical to protect their children. It's the same thing with humans. You have to be in that alert constantly. Watch out for the signs your children give to you and protect them with your life. Don't be shy. Even if it's relative, even if it's your husband, stepdad, most of them are always guilty. Stepdad, even fathers. There are fathers who are even involved with their children. People who are having psychological problem. Watch out for these signs.
Protect the child. Protect the female child out there. Every child matters, and we are supposed to be safeguarding officers for the children, not just our children. All the children out there, we are supposed to be safeguarding officers. And the last thing is, any institution you know that you can make a change, do it. Whether it's a family, you want to create a forum where you educate parents. There are a lot of forums, though, Innocent, where they're really talking to parents and teaching them a lot of things, but they are all on social media. So there should be more work going on ground with the family on ground. And then the churches, I think that one is coming on, and is coming on really strongly, because now I think people are bringing them down from those high horses. So we will be talking about problems that we have and ways of dealing with. Every church should have safeguarding people, safeguarding units for the children, all these big churches. So we are getting there, and every one of us, we have to be involved. It's a big, big task, but we can get there gradually, progressively, gently, one day at a time. We will get there.
So thank you so much for this opportunity. So I wish you an excellent evening. I will send you the link to the video. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.
Everybody. God bless you. Bye for now.